trans athlete have an unfair advantage versus... Oh, shit. Wait, what the fuck? Obviously, trans. Obviously, if you're a male going to female, you have a obvious advantage with bone structure, bone density, muscle fiber, all that shit. Are you kidding me? Obviously. There's a reason why, like, a mid-range tennis player for males can absolutely destroy, like, the best female tennis players or fighting or in so many sports where it's like physicality is important, right? There's obviously... No, of course. Oh, I want to click on this and get triggered as fuck. But wait, maybe they'll agree. They have to agree. You can't not agree. You can't not agree that, okay, men transferring to women have a clear advantage. I do not think they should be able to compete. I do not think they should be able to compete versus other women, right? Let's be real. If the sport is like overwhelmingly, I mean, if it's chess, of course, who cares? If it's something that's like in the head, whatever, who cares? But if it's like you're literally punching each other out, no. I think there should be a better system. I think we need to get rid of the gender system, and they need to have some sort of scanning process, some sort of advanced scanning technology. You know, I don't know. They use weight, muscle mass. They use a bunch of measurements and stuff, and they figure out like, okay, this person has this much, like, you know, this is theoretically how strong they could possibly be. They're allowed to fight in this range of people, right? And yeah, the men who have transferred to women would just be fighting other men, but, you know, it's one of these things where, you know, I think there should be like a system where they can, you know, make new categories. Kind of like weight classes, except body type classes, right? And then that way it doesn't matter if you're trans. You should just compete against other people with the same body type as you, right? Let's be real. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's not sexist or anything. That's like a way of fairly matching people up. Click it. Should we click it?
Hey, do you love middle ground? I know I do. Did you know that every purchase made at the Jubilee shop helps fund this show? If you're looking for ways to support Jubilee, play this episode.
If you truly believe that trans women have an advantage, even with hormones, then that means you truly believe that trans men have a disadvantage,
yes,
even with hormones.
Of course. Of course. Of course. A woman changing to a guy can go into and fight other guys all they want. A woman changing to a guy can go and fight other guys all she wants. Because she's at a massive disadvantage. 100, of course.
So the argument...
Body type versus body type. Where do midget clowns fit in?
Well, they fight the other midget clowns. That's the thing. They fight the other midget clowns.
Men have a disadvantage, even with hormones. So the argument that you hear most of the time is against trans women. So does that mean that you're okay with trans men having that disadvantage?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where I think there should be a new system entirely, a new category system to categorize these people, because otherwise, I mean, think about it. When people
300, hey Vegeta. What does the scouter says about their cook take level? It's over 9,000, bitch.
Okay. Stop donating.
Hi, my name is Howard. I've been a swimmer for 13 years and currently I'm on the UCLA triathlon team.
My name's Jing and I've been swimming for 11 years.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I've been playing indoor volleyball for 7 years. I've been playing beach volleyball for 3 years.
20 minutes video gonna last 2 hours.
I play
Cry.
women's flat track.
You're the problem. Do you know what? Actually, I'm just gonna mute donations for now. You're just getting muted, pussies. Wait, can I even mute? I don't know if I can mute anymore. Oh, my mute button's gone. Oh wait, mute alerts. Actually, I don't know if that's gonna work. Might not work. We'll find out. Okay.
Roller derby, and I've been playing. My name is Afton. I play women's flat track roller derby, and I've been playing since the end of 2018.
My name is Mac Beggs. I'm a wrestler. I've been in combat sports for 8 years.
My name is Sydney. I played tennis growing up for 13 years, and now I am a fitness coach.
Okay, cis athletes, trans athletes. Fucking hell, dude, the woman changing to men are so much more convincing than the, you know, right? Like, let's be real here. Like, oh, then again, I've seen some really hardcore. I've seen some hot chicks who used to be dudes, right? Wait, cis? Cis means just. Wait, what does cis mean? Cis means like you're not trans, right? Yeah, cis means that's just standard gender. This is like they've changed gender. So there used to be a woman, now is a man. Used to be a woman, now is a man. Used to be a man, now is a woman.
Trans athletes have an unfair advantage.
Okay. Trans female athletes. See, this is okay. It kind of balances out because obviously the females that go to male have a disadvantage, and the males that go to female have an advantage. So it cancels out. But so they need to change this to trans females.
Step forward if you agree.
Yeah, you step forward on the trans female. You step forward on. Don't be a pussy.
When you first think about like transgender athletes, I guess the first thing you think about is, well, biologically, transition usually happens after puberty, right? So if this biologically male athlete goes through puberty, he gets like better bone structure, he has all these skills that he enhances, all these muscle that he puts on, and then he transitions.
Yeah.
Yes, your testosterone levels go down, but you're always just gonna have that like things that you've gone through like during puberty that you have after you've transitioned. So I feel like there's always gonna be that advantage.
Yep.
I think it's dependent on the gender that they are transitioning to. For example, trans women do have somewhat of an advantage. Biological men are naturally born with higher bone density and larger lung capacity and a larger heart, and that's not something that can necessarily be changed with hormones. Of course, this isn't the same for trans men athletes.
For me, it's just on average, guys are typically a little bit stronger, a little bit larger, a little bit taller. So depending on the sport especially, it can give them a large advantage.
It's literally not a debate. There's a zero debate. There's zero debate. Like Serena Williams, like the best female tennis player, gets absolutely annihilated by like a mid-range, no-name male player. Just like the best female MMA fighter gets annihilated by any mid-range male fighter. Just like, and this is true across all sports that require, like, you know, just physical strength, right? And it's just a straight up fact. The advantage is massive, absolutely massive. It is absolutely unfair. Otherwise, guess what? If the advantage and disadvantage wasn't that big, you would see women being on sports teams. You'd see women playing rugby. There wouldn't be all women teams. There'd be a woman on the male team because there could be an abnormally fit, abnormally strong woman, and they would fucking come into one of the rugby teams because, you know, an abnormally fucking good woman would be like equal to a man at that point, but that's not the case. You don't see women anywhere because the fact is that the absolute best case scenario for a woman still doesn't come close to even a high-end man. You know, it's one of those things. Now, don't get me wrong. Me being a complete mid-range dude, even maybe below average, there is literally like hundreds of thousands of women who would body the fuck out of me in a fight. Right? Body the fuck out of me. I mean, I would get absolutely destroyed. And the majority of chat would get, you know. But then, like, you just go to, like, but then you go to the extreme with the men, and you see these guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and these people who are, like, completely ridiculously fucking jacked. It's like, well, of course. Of course I stand no chance, right? Like,
when you're looking at something like that, when it's something like swimming, having that ability to be a little bit larger lung capacity will overall affect that.
Can I have the disagreeer step forward?
I get why the female to male.
Among cisgender men and cisgender women, there are naturally differences in their anatomy, in their hormonal levels, in their height, bone structure, all that stuff. Like any cisgender woman compared to another might have a different body type. Yeah. Some women are naturally very strong. If you take the advantage, which I think in most cases is the hormones, and if you compare the blood work and you're just looking at that, if they're on the same level, in my opinion, there just isn't an advantage because when you grow up playing sports, some people are good at sports, some people aren't.
The problem I see with this argument is that there's a large group of people that no matter what I do in a sport will always automatically assume that I have an advantage, but they're not.
Because you do. Because you do. What do you mean? Because you do.
Taking into account hours that I put into practice, hours
Doesn't
that I put
matter.
into weightlifting to become a better athlete. Roller derby is probably 90+%.
Well, it's like saying if I'm a guy and I fight women, I win more, and like you're saying the only reason I'm winning is because I'm a guy, right? but not because I spent ages practicing. Like, what the fuck are you on about? If you get put, of course, if you, I don't. What is it? I don't understand this logic.
Cis women, I get my ass handed to me. Like, yes, I am tall, and I can see that can be an advantage in some sports, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that I have an advantage.
Oh yeah. What we usually hear in the news and politics and stuff is about trans women, just because they're in so much prominence, because they are winning. Like, I can't remember what her name is right now, but she was a power lifter. She is a power lifter. I think she went to Tokyo Olympics, and she's transgender. And they're winning.
New Zealand weightlifter. Yeah, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible. Like, New Zealand. I think New Zealand I think NZ is allowing the transgender woman to go into shit, and they're just like, and there's loads of controversy because they're just shitting on the females. So it's not even close. It's not even close. They're breaking world records for females, and she's clearly got a male body, right? Okay, let's have a look here. New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard competes in the women's 87 kg weight class, became the first transgender woman to compete in the Olympics. Transgender women have been eligible to compete in the Olympics since 2004 Athens Games, and I see most recently updated guidelines for 2015. Yeah, they're gonna need to redefine. They're basically what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to design new classes and outside of female and male, right? They're gonna have to design body type, body type classes. And I think it's going to be ultimately good because then you could have men and women doing stuff together, and you could have and it wouldn't matter if you're trans or whatever because they'd just be, it'd just be based on body type.
By a large amount of weight.
If you truly believe that trans women have an advantage, even with hormones, then that means you truly believe that trans men have a disadvantage.
Yes.
Even with hormones.
Yes.
So the argument that you hear most of the time is against trans women.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you're okay with trans men having that disadvantage?
When I was going through.
Yeah, of course. That means because that means they're the underdog. That means they win. They won, and they were at a disadvantage, which means it's totally fair and balanced. Yes.
High school,
They're playing with a handicap.
wrestled against females. I had to suppress both my hormones in my body, and I was still able to beat the men too, with my levels low. And I cut 15 pounds a week. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The body is a shell.
This person has transitioned so well. I would not be if you had to it's one of the things where this guy's transitioned so fucking well.
And what we do every single day in the practices and the life lessons that we get living 40 years on this earth, we just try to live life the best we can.
Yeah.
Trans athletes should have a separate category in certain sports.
Yes. But I don't think it should be like that though. I think they should make all categories. I think with body modification it's going to be huge in the next 20 years. I think Olympics are going to have to recategorize everything.
I don't want to say that they should be in a completely different category, just because socially and legally, yes, they are that.
Shouldn't women be getting pissed off? Because if they don't, and they just let all the trans males go into the female roles, guess what? Do you know how many biological women would be in the Olympics competing in anything? Do you know how many? With gymnasts? Perhaps gymnasts. Almost zero. Not zero quite, but it would be 99% men who have transferred to women who are just, and then it would be 1% actual woman, right? And if they don't recategorize, and women basically just get ousted out of sports and the Olympics. Let's be real.
Gender that they transition to, and
biological, actual, you know what I mean, biological. They started, you know what I mean by, okay, it's language chat. You can misinterpret things however the fuck you want to interpret them. You know what I mean. I mean, when I say actual, I mean a biological woman, right, who started off as a woman and didn't transfer, they didn't sex change.
And putting them in another category just seems, from hindsight, seems wrong. But as an athlete, in the sporting world, it just does seem a little bit unfair if you classify them under the same group, I guess.
Yeah, I think that there definitely are some sports where your physical ability makes a much larger impact on the sport itself. Wrestling would be one of them, swimming, track, something like that. But
weightlifting.
if you look at NASCAR as a sport, I believe that anyone can then go and do that sort of sport because that's more of a technique. If you look at other sports like golf, it requires a lot of technique and a lot of strength. Plus video games is now starting to make a massive rise. So all of those could definitely have both genders in it with no problem. For swimming especially, if I were to decide that I would like to transition and then start all of the hormone therapy for a year or so, then obviously I would probably lose some muscle mass and I would slow down in my swimming, but I don't know if that slowdown would necessarily be enough to make it fair for the cis females that I'd be competing up against.
The danger of it is that you're possibly outing somebody.
How about outing all women? How about outing all women?
America alone, there's several places that
let's get rid of all women in the Olympics because there's this 1%, like 0.01% of the population that are trans, right?
it's still extremely dangerous to be an open transgender person. To say that you can't perform unless you're in this group, there's just a lot of safety reasons for that individual that it's not good. Second thing, where does the line draw? You're saying swimming, and you had mentioned earlier that like height was an advantage. Did I go through puberty as a male? Yes. But in order to say that I have an advantage because I was born with testosterone is the equivalent of saying that, oh, I went to this gym one time and I lifted and I had a protein shake, so I should never have to take a protein.
It doesn't matter how much my mom goes to the gym, she is never going to have the same, she will never be able to get to the same body that you have. What are you on about? It doesn't matter how much Abby goes to the gym, how jacked she gets. Okay, if you do the same thing, you have an advantage. What are you on about? What are you on about? This is some clown shit. This guy's fucking clown.
Protein shake again because it's in my body. And the medicine I'm taking stops that testosterone. I don't have that anymore.
Oh my God.
Like my entire body, my entire mind, my entire way of thinking is
guy is gender neutral term, bitch. I use guy in a gender neutral term. Okay, I use guy in a gender. Okay, I don't know specify. I say guy. Yeah, what up, guys? Like, what's going on, guys? It means both boy and girl.
Different because of the medicine I'm on.
Are we going to start making categories for cis athletes? Okay, you're in a category if you're 5'9" and above, 5'7" to 5'9", 5'5" to 5'7", weights, like all those things.
Yeah. I think it's possible with algorithms and scans. I mean, with machine learning, I think you can straight up use machine learning and AI and give them enough information about the body, and I think you can straight up categorize these people in a fair manner. I straight up think it's possible. 100%. Why? I think you totally can. You plug in enough information, and they can categorize them into like 5 different categories. That and then these 5 different categories are what you compete in, and not male or female. And what it means is the mid-range categories. Guess what? These uber jacked women who are actually badass could actually play with men and compete against men, and they could shit on them as well, which is fucking poggers. It's just fucking. Now, obviously, this extreme category is going to be all natural males, right? Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But like this mid-range, it's going to open up this really cool interplay of women and men playing on the same team, which would be badass. Natural males, yes, I mean biological males, people who are born as males. Yes, at the end of the day, yes, the absolute top is always going to be the biological males until they get to a point where you can modify. I mean we're talking about genetic modification as humans until that future comes, which is probably coming soon.
Things just like. Exactly, where is the line drawn?
I mean, they do have.
I mean, soon you're going to have to modify your kids to have like insane muscle mass, and I mean, really, they already do. If you've not seen what they've done with genetic modification, in CRISPR, have you seen what they've done to cattle, like genetically? Like, have a look at this shit. Have a look at this shit, dude. Have a look at this shit. Is this a real one? Wait, there's some fucking crazy ones. There's some crazy ones. There's some. I don't know if that one's actually just photoshopped. I don't know if that one's. Let's have a look at this one. Super cow. Blue the Monster. Ever wondered how the bovine version of Arnold Schwarzenegger would look like? Probably don't. Here's the fact: the cattle breed looks like a bovine body. I think this is a. A lot of them are just they just breed the muscly ones other than muscly ones. Shit, man. There's some crazy shit going on. The point is, there's some crazy shit going on. Okay, and soon people are going to start modifying their kids. There's a guy who's already done it, who's made his kid, basically, some guy in China modified his kid with CRISPR. Well, he modified the embryo to make him, like, resistant to AIDS. Yeah, some guy in China just did it. Yeah, he actually, I'm not even kidding. No. Oh, you want to have a look? Wait, CRISPR. Human AIDS. Where are we? What's the guy who did it? Application based gene editing with AIDS, scientists use gene editing to treat HIV nature. Wait. Wait, CRISPR baby scan all for this new baby CRISPR baby presence and this is made for research. Exclusive Chinese scientists creating CRISPR babies. Where are we at, dude? Where are we at? Where's the fucking guy? It was done many years ago. No. It was done many years ago, and they're unironically doing it. It's a straight up like it's a fact. They're genetically modifying human embryos right now in China, and probably yeah, fake story. No, it like do you want me to find it? I'll fucking find it, dude. Thank you. Mr. Twitch Prime Sub. Watashi no Quintin desu. Neko. Research conducted first experimentation in CRISPR to edit human embryos in 2015. Since then, a handful of teams around the world have begun to explore the process, which aims to make precise edits to genes. But such studies are still rare and generally strictly regulated. A guy in China. I watched a whole documentary on CRISPR and this guy and what this guy did in China. I don't know where you find it though. The first preprinters with biologists, France, London College, exchanges. I mean, it's one of these things where I can't believe you guys aren't believing me. Where I need to find it to prove it to you guys. But no, it's literally happening like right now all around the world. It is literally happening right now all around the world, and you're a clown if you don't think it's happening. Human-animal hybrids. The fuck are you linking? You're just linking some random shit. First Chinese edited babies. Okay, first Chinese edited babies to leap face in science. China's one of the leaders in genetics games since 2014 when Chinese scientists published their results on CRISPR, Cas9 technique, and one-cell stage monkey embryos. They have main drivers in the new technique. In November 2018, media from all the world reported that 2 twin girls have been born with modified genes and to make them HIV immune. There you go. Their birth was a result of an experiment, presently it can only be called that, conducted by Hijanku with couples in which males were HIV carriers. Using CRISPR technology to immunize the babies against HIV virus, he managed to disable the CCR5 gene that enables HIV infection. So this is yeah. Published peer-reviewed equals fact. What are you even on about? There was a massive controversy. There was a massive controversy, and it was on the news, you fucking clowns. What the fuck is this? A video on genetically modified superhuman athletes.
Inside! Missile!
You can still see his tendon, dude. You can still see his entire tendon, like... Holy shit. To be honest, that arm's pretty jacked. Like he's got some leverage there. You know, he's got some. That runs pretty jacked.
Dude, I rarely pull those out. It's kind of a rare occasion today. But look at both of those.
That arm looks more emaciated than this one.
Look at those! Look at those fucking RPGs!
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, I think the male and female divide is going to be far, in the future, like they're going to have to come up with new regulations because of body modification and gene editing, and the various technologies that are in the works right now. I think that whole thing is going to change pretty massively. Let's be real. No fapping arm actually withered. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Okay.
Wait, categories.
Well, yeah, for
like,
certain sports, of course. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think just generally, every person is different. And like you were saying, like the cis women that were getting cut because they're naturally, more athletic to some standard that's set. It's like,
Or even the varying levels of testosterone.
Exactly.
You're in this box, so now you're in this league.
yeah.
I wasn't by any chance trying to discriminate against them and try and put them in their own category
Yeah.
in that way. It was more just by a performance standpoint. We already do separate everyone into their own different levels. You don't have Olympic athletes coming and competing at club levels.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of trying to become a better athlete then?
If they're trying to work up to a goal, I'm not entirely sure.
So if you're good enough, you're going to be singled out and have to go. There's
Yeah,
no
okay, what do you
proof.
mean? If you're not supposed to go and shit on, you should be. It's like don't pick on the little guy. You should be fighting the other guy that's comparable to you. What are you on about? No, I want to stay in this place and just beat up all the babies. I want to beat up all the women. Okay, dude. Like no. You have to fight someone in your own class. You don't get to sit there and just grief noobs. You don't get to sit there and grief noobs.
Any trans athlete that is #1 in any category right now.
Yeah, that's because I think they're being held back so much by just like the media and everything that you don't get to see their chance to shine in that sense.
What would you?
Wait, isn't there some MMA person and some weightlifting person who's like literally gold? Isn't that a thing?
You guys say to like?
Didn't New Zealand get a gold medal with a trans athlete? Isn't that a thing that just happened? Like, then again, how old is this video? I guess 2021, August 30. Wait, that's really recent.
Transgender people who
she was injured.
transitioned.
She lost. Omega lol, dude. Omega lol.
Before puberty.
In that instance, I think I would take a step back and kind of look at it more at like my own argument, like it was a scientifically based on like puberty and stuff. So I would like consider like that would be different, but my mindset just coming into this, I mean, I think that most people go through transitioning like after puberty, or it's like encouraged to.
Common.
Yeah.
For me, it's more if they end up just fitting the category, regardless if they do it before puberty or after puberty. If they have the right amount of testosterone, they did all the right testing all beforehand, then why not? Then you don't even need to separate them. They might as well just compete as a trans athlete.
Okay, dude.
Hormone testing is fair.
No, you have mechanical advantages. It doesn't. Oh my god, bro.
Like the Olympics tests, college level tests.
Have you heard of thing called physics before? Like literally simulate them, their body types. If you simulate the trans men who change to woman, they have an objective advantage.
I know, like in Texas at my high school level, the UIL organization.
The hormone levels don't care.
And it's to keep everybody safe. And
about the size of your hands and your feet and your height and your bone density. Like you're gonna just be a better swimmer. Doesn't matter. You're gonna be able to lift more weight.
To test for hormone levels, and if that's the ultimate, conversation here is that we're looking in people for hormone levels as a competition, then why separate men and women? Why are we talking about men and women? We just strictly talking about hormone levels then.
Yeah.
So there is varying levels of testosterone blockers that you can be on. I chose to be on one of the higher ones, but I can guarantee you that someone like me is going to get less of a chance to be cut than a cis female because my hormones will stay the same, whereas a cis is going to be all over the place depending on all sorts of variables.
Yeah.
I personally think that the hormone testing is really important, and just coming from like a fitness perspective, like fitness, bodybuilding, like that sort of athletics. For me, I take a lot of pride in the fact that my testosterone levels are within the normal range of a cisgender male. Obviously, performance enhancers, right?
He's high T, bro. He's high
extra
T.
testosterone, all those things are thrown around among cisgender men in the fitness world to, enhance our performance, get bigger, all that sort of thing. And for me, being able to say like, no, I am within the normal range of a cisgender man. The muscle I'm putting on, I'm naturally putting on. I don't have an advantage over anybody else that's in that normal range. So I think for me, like, it's just really important because I'm like proud of that. And I think if you just assume that a trans person has an advantage because they're taking testosterone, it's kind of like, well, what about cis men that take testosterone to get bigger and that sort of thing? So.
What the fuck?
How you doing, man?
Testing for hormones is fine. The issue is what you're gonna do with that, because as I said earlier, it's really hard to put someone in a box because there's always averages here and there for male and female, but especially when you start making your way up in the competition pool, those norms go out the window, and it then gets even more difficult to write legislation on what a male can compete in and what a female can compete in for if their hormone levels.
Do they think like if you're high T, then you have like you like automatically like fucking 2 times as good as the other athlete? And if your T level's the same, it doesn't matter if you're like 6 foot fucking 1. With like do they really think like, oh, he's got normal T levels? Yeah, 6'1", got big hands, more, his bone density's higher, all around has a physical advantage, but his T levels are the same, so therefore, I mean, it's gonna be fine and balanced, right? Clearly, there's no advantage here. Like, what? I don't understand what the fuck. What does this take? What does it take? You can intentionally tank your testosterone levels before they were gonna test it as well. You could just like utilize it to build muscle and everything, and just deliberately tank your T levels right before the competition. You can manipulate that quite easily. It's like what?
Are outside of this said box.
I'm fine as a trans athlete being tested. If I need to prove to the world that like I'm the better athlete at the end of the day, go ahead and take my medical information. I don't care.
Dude, you're fine, bro. Bro, you're fine. Dog, you woman that transitioned into a man, okay, if you're shitting on other dudes, you're fucking destroying them, dog. You're fucking you're farming them, bro. At the end of the day, you're the underdog, you're playing at a disadvantage, and you're shitting on them, bro, and that's totally ethical. It's just the other way around, not so much.
Like, I'm just trying to live my truth. That's all I'm trying to do.
A cis female that's competing in a high level of track might have a normal male testosterone, so now are you going to kick them out because now their testosterone levels are too high? And that's where legislation can get really difficult to write.
I am treated fairly by my fellow athletes.
I joined roller derby only like 4 months after I decided to transition and get onto hormones. Everyone from the beginning was very accepting. Roller derby is almost too accepting from my experience, because I forgot how bad the real world can be sometimes. Not everyone is going to be, but...
That'd be fine with it, because there's probably plenty of women in this roller derby that are way more jacked than him, right? Let's be honest here. Like, no, really. They're fine with it because there's plenty of women in there who are way more jacked than him. This guy's a little bitch in comparison, right? Like, she's a little bitch in comparison to some of the... I mean, have you seen some of those chicks in the roller derby? They would annihilate me, bro. I mean, now, if you were in MMA and you were just straight up more jacked than every other woman there because you're a managed transition to a female, yeah, they wouldn't be so fucking accepting. Let's be real. They wouldn't be so fucking accepting.
My personal experience has been very positive.
Growing up, in my club, I trained with
yeah.
my brother, and we were like kind of in the distance group, so it was mostly guys there, and they never really saw me as like she's a girl, you know? They just saw me as like another competitor, and it was always just fun, like racing, and like it just made me grow up love being in the sporting world and being competitive with everyone, so yeah.
I definitely get a lot of hate like online, but I've never personally gotten any like issues. Like everyone that's in the gym is just trying to get better for the most part. Obviously that kind of communal idea is really like helpful as far as me not getting so much hate.
How can anyone even tell that guy's trans? That's what I don't get. To me, I'd be like, oh, it's just a gay dude. He's just a gay dude. I mean, I'd just be like, oh, it's a gay dude. Yeah, I would not voice. No, I would just think he's a gay dude. I would not even think for a second that guy's trans. I'd be like, oh, it's a gay dude.
When in high school, when I came out,
Like that, I'd be like, oh, the gay dude, right? You just think they're another, they're just like, it's whatever, dude. Like,
like prominently, everybody knew that I was trans, and there was a coach that exploited me in a lawsuit to try to ban me in high school. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Wow.
I was on hormone blockers, and it was suppressing my estrogen and testosterone. And even though everybody knew who I was, when it came to after junior high, when he did that, it was so aggressive. Parents would scream from the stands that they wanted to hurt me as being a
fucking K-Coners. What the fuck? You're fucking getting mad that some chick who's transferred to being a dude is destroying your son? What? Dude, your son's a fucking pussy bitch if that's the case. Let's be honest here.
Trans man, and just in my life in general.
Holy
my
fuck.
family doesn't come from much, and we work very hard. And I'm like the first generation to try to become something. So, I mean, the haters.
Yeah. Sports should be gender neutral.
Your body's a vessel. It shouldn't.
No, I mean, if they develop another category system that's superior, I'm down with it. I think I'm okay with this. If they develop a system of categorization, they're going to have to, chat. With body modification, think about when people start getting new prosthetics and stuff, and, like, all these sorts of enhancements where you can, like, just inject yourself and, like, your muscle mass just goes up by, like, some ridiculous amount. And, like, think about when people start to be modified, okay? Think about the future, right? Cyborgs and shit. Like, I mean, yeah, shit's gonna change.
Matter whether you're male or female, because I feel like the sports in general, is growing. Especially there's this like little girl in wrestling. She wrestled in the junior division.
Think about esports, chat. What happens in esports when some people have computer brain interfaces and other people do not? Right? Think about when that happens. Really, think about, like, seriously. Like, think about when some people get computer brain interfaces and other people do not, and then the people with the CBIs have a straight up advantage over the guys who do not. I mean, what are you going to ban? Are you going to make a new league? And then what happens when there's just, like, some person has, like, some slightly change, they have a pair of glasses or something, or some sort of modification to their eye that gives them some extra information that you don't have. Like, there's going to be this whole spectrum of modification, and then how are you going to gate that? How are you going to gate that? They're gonna have to redefine what's okay and what's not okay, and agendas are gonna go out the window, I think.
And in wrestling,
like, mark my words, chat. 20 years from now, agendas will go out the window.
In nationals in the 106-pound division, and she kicked all the guys' asses.
Yeah.
I was like, go for you. So I feel like as the sport's growing, as we're evolving as a society, and we're being very progressive, that it should get to the point, if we're talking about gender-neutral bathrooms, why can't we talk about gender-neutral sports?
I actually rode and showed equestrian for 10 years, and I was like one of two.
Wait, gender-neutral bathrooms? That's weird. Wait, I mean, when I go in a bathroom, I had to go into a stall. I had to go into a stall that's, like, completely isolated. I'd prefer not to, like, I just like to go in stalls. Not a big, I'm not a big, I'll go in the urinal and I'll go to, like, the corner one or whatever. But, like, I find, dude, when you're looking, when you're glancing at someone else's dick, dude, and you're like, it's another dick. It's like you're looking at someone's dick, and then it's like, fuck, okay, dicks. And I just prefer not to look at other dudes' dicks, I guess. What if you see me erect and you have taken a little bit of time to just start pissing? Sitting there, like, not pissing, and the guy next to you just instantly starts pissing, because I take a bit of time to start pissing. It could be like 20 seconds before I actually start pissing, it's one of those things we don't want to just stand there awkwardly, right? And the other guy instantly starts pissing, Like, I prefer a stool.
Men at the time, and then there are other roller derby leagues that are co-ed, and they work fine. Like, women are going up against men, and they're bashing each other, and they're, like, going at it. There's a lot of things, and I feel like sports are one of these things where it's like, it has to be this, or it has to be that. The same as gender. It has to be this, or it has to be that, and it's not.
For me, the issue that I would start seeing with this is when we start looking at scholarships. And for college level, if you start combining the sports by gender, then scholarships are always given to the top athletes. What happens to the females that now need that scholarship necessarily to go to college, but now you've just all thrown them into one category?
Anyway? I don't even get
It all of a sudden breaks that whole opportunity for them.
Still just doing Uber Elder. Is he doing it right now? I'm in the middle of a thing, dude. All right, let's continue this.
Maybe even go to college because now they've been training to be able to provide for themselves in college. And now, since it's all one level playing field, maybe they can beat the males, but on average, they probably won't be able to, especially depending on the sport.
Well, trans athletes aren't even getting scholarships either. I'm a two-time state champion in high school, didn't get a scholarship. I just now been able to get my scholarship 3 years into being on a male team.
Yeah. But we're talking like hypothetically in the perfect world if sports was gender neutral.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like
that's BS. That he should get a double scholarship. If he was competing in male sports as a man, you know, who used to be a female, he's trying to put a massive disadvantage and he's winning. I mean, that should get like a double scholarship, bro.
All hypothetical.
Yeah.
Everything's hypothetical in a sense because we don't have enough analytical data.
I feel as though making all sports gender neutral in that way, there is still some biological benefits to being born a man versus being born a female.
I just can't get over the fact that there are going to be all these very obvious differences, not advantages, but just differences in if we had gender neutral sports.
It's not going to be a co-ed team versus an all-male team. It's going to be a co-ed team versus a co-ed team. So I feel like there would still be strategy that would have to be played into it.
I'm thinking more like individually.
Yeah, individual. And I can see like where you're coming from that. And you mentioned wrestling earlier, just the whole combat sport community in general does have a long way to go. Definitely not completely supportive of trans athletes, but in a sense of like when I've noticed and just like studying of how like female athletes are and male athletes are, the best like MMA female athletes, cis, have male training partners. And most of the time like they're kicking their ass unless like they're training or unless they have somebody that's better than them to push them. And then that's just making them a better athlete.
In my opinion.
No, it's like this, dude. It's like this. Oh, shit, what have I done? Oh, shit, dude, I've leaked. Okay, this is what's up, dude. All right. So there's like a scale, like, right, there's like a scale. Bro. Right, there's like a scale, bro. And this is like masculinity, like, and this is like peak performance of strength, and that's like femininity, and like if you're on this side you're gonna get absolutely destroyed, right? And at the end of the day, you know, I'm probably like slightly above 50%, right? Like, I'm like over here, right? This is where I am on the fucking scale here. This is where I am on the scale, right? Like I'm certainly more masculine than I am feminine, but I'm not like, right, okay, and whatever. You know, I'm okay with that. It's fine. And you have some dudes, right? You have some dudes who are ultra feminine, like that guy in the thing right now, who's now a female, is like, you know, all the way over here. Actually, no, it's very close to like here, right? Very close to like here. Very close to like here. Like a more kind of like, that's like a kind of like a tomboy kind of girl, right? You know, like Abby, like for example, Abby would be, you know, probably Abby would be over here. This would be like Abby, like, you know, this would be Abby over here. She's fucking alpha as fuck. She's extremely tomboy. She like doesn't give a fuck. She gets her hands dirty. Zero fucks given. Okay. Right? But the point I'm trying to make is, yeah, there's chicks out there, right? There's chicks out there over here. This is like a, you know, there's women out here who are so much more masculine and they would absolutely body me. And they'd absolutely destroy the fuck out of me. And anything I tried to do, it doesn't matter. Like, I would just get annihilated by this fucking alpha chick. But there's always gonna be a guy that's at this point here. This is always going to be dominated by a male. Just like this is always going to be dominated by a female. And it doesn't matter how high the most, you know, the point I'm trying to make is the top dudes are always going to cheat on the top chicks. And then what that means is when a dude goes to a chick, they're always going to be more masculine than the actual chicks, which means they're always going to have an advantage over the actual woman. And there's no balancing that can be done over a physical sport. There's no balancing because there's always this divide of like your most fucking jacked, big dick, ultimate chick. There's always this divide. You can never bridge this gap. You can never bridge this gap. The strongest dude is always going to be a leap and a bound ahead of the strongest chick. And then what that means is dudes on average are always stronger than chicks. And then what that means is if you transfer from a man to a woman, you always have an advantage. And you can't fix that unless you uncategorize based on genders and you categorize based on body types, which I think can be done with algorithms and AI. I think you could like give a computer enough information and they could calculate like how, like what your, you know, what category you should be in. And then you could have like 5 different categories. Yeah. Buzzwords. It's not a buzzword. It's not a buzzword. I think that's the only fix. Oh shit, what have I done? Oops.
Opinion, like kids are extremely accepting. I have 2 gorgeous kids, and it's so cool to have them play on a playground and explain to their new friends who I am, and like watch them do that. And their kids, like their friends, will be like, "Oh, okay," you know. But you talk to an adult, and they're like, you know, because you have this instilled, like what you were saying, this instilled education from the time you were born. That has basically said that, no, this is wrong. You have to have this group, you have to have this group, you have to have this group. Like, I do talk about it a lot with people, but I have to understand that it's not.
No, it's a fucking spectrum. I totally agree. It's a spectrum. Like that, just like there's a masculine, feminine spectrum, and you can have girly dudes, and you can have manly girls, and you can have people who are like me, who are like, you know, just average dude, and you can have, you know, it's 100%. I agree, it is a spectrum. You can be someone who's right in the middle, who's like somewhere in between a girl and a guy. But you do obviously have your biological, you know, you're either biological, unless you have a rare medical condition where you actually have both genitalia and you're actually like somewhere in between, right? But they tend to swing like one way pretty hard, right?
Not my responsibility to educate everyone.
Yeah, this the hermaphrodites, chat. Like if you can be born with like a dick and a vagina and have like functional organs. Yeah. That's like a thing, and you can be like, but those guys, those dudes don't like, oh, I'm a dude, like, oh, I'm clearly a chick.
Like I have to be able to
it's
cross
extremely
that line
rare, yeah.
where it's like mentally I can't do it anymore. Like I need to step back for a little bit. But like you said, like ask questions. Like if you're genuine, as long as I know it's not malicious.
Yeah.
Ask a question. Don't freaking ask me about my genitals. Like that's none of your freaking business.
Be respectful. I just want to know, like, have you guys ever had, like, you were talking about your scholarship. Do you guys feel like you have less opportunity in the sense of, like, competitions and, like, scholarships just because you guys are trans?
When COVID started, roller derby, since then, has not gotten back together. So I lost my sport, which was something that was, like, really kept my brain in focus and, like, centered me. So I got into powerlifting. I lift because I enjoy it, but I don't even try and compete just because people are gonna like I don't want the backlash from it. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's gotten for me to that point a little bit. A couple of years ago, it was like all too much, and it took my coach was fortunate and supported me through like my academic journey, and he was like, if you feel like you can't do this anymore, like as long as you got good grades, like, and you know, when we're being asked like in high school, like when we're like going to be competing on a high level, you know, the first thing that comes out of a recruiter or a recruiter's mouth is what are your grades, not how good you are.
I mean, I think I just learned a lot. Like, I loved hearing all of y'all stories, and I feel sad that you guys like feel oppressed sometimes and don't even try, you know?
I hope this educates people.
Yeah.
Sports aren't a real job, Chad. This thing gets like computer games are a real job. The fuck?
Mic drop right there.
It's fucking sports. Oh, Megalol, dude. Sports in the current year, bro. Israelis and Palestinians? Middle ground? That's a pretty fucking hardcore one. Yo, this is actually pretty good. These are pretty good. What the fuck? Holy shit. Death penalty and anti-death penalty. Oh my god, I can watch that. Liberals versus Christians? 6 criminals, 1 undercover cop? Wait, what the fuck? What is this shit, man? This shit is like clickbait as fuck. I love it. Flat Earther versus scientists. Oh, this would be a clown fiesta. That would be a fucking clown fiesta. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Why haven't you guys linked these videos to me?
Because he is God.